Attack!
Yow, what's up guys? Welcome, I am eXtine from X Television. This is an introductory series that I am just starting, that I want to cover all the basics of the different classes, different stuff of TF2, and give the absolute beginners some material to start with. So let's take a look at the game. Right now we're just going to go over the extreme basics of TF2. This is definitely going to be repeat material for some of you. And you know, if you've already gotten in the game, you might want to skip this one and try to tune in to our follow-up videos. Just trying to do short 3-minute videos that kind of help break down some of the aspects of Team Fortress 2. TF2 is free to play. It is fantastic. It is one of the best games out there, and it doesn't cost you anything to play. That is, unless you choose to buy items, choose to buy some of the gear that is out there in the store. But almost everything you can earn just by playing the game, so you don't have to spend money on it. Don't worry about that. So let's take a look at the game itself. Right now we have a Halloween backdrop because the Halloween event is just about to start. TF2 is constantly updated with new content and also events that are really exciting. So we've had events in the past, including like a Demo Man versus Soldier War, but Halloween is a holiday event that is coming up, and that is going to be a ton of fun. Probably launching tomorrow. So let's take a look here. We are at the introduction screen, and I want to show you guys start playing is kind of the easiest way to just kind of hop into the game immediately. I want to go over some of the types of games that Team Fortress has, and then I'll start looking at the classes real quick. Like I said, this is just going to be a short video, and then we'll follow this up with further in-depth looks at some of the classes. So Payload is a mode where both teams are fighting against each other. You have an offense and defense. Blue team is on offense, red team is on defense, and there is a cart that you have to push and advance it through different control points. This is a great method, great mode to get started on, because really the cart is the primary focus, and you just have to go and try to push the cart or try and stop the cart. So always stay near the cart. King of the Hill is similarly easy. There's just one point that you have to capture, and you capture it by standing on it, and then a progress bar shows up. They're very typical to other games as well. But King of the Hill is just one point, so that's a lot easier to focus on. Attack and defense is kind of a mix between those two, where there's a series of points. One team is on offense, only has to worry about offense. The other team is on defense, only has to worry about defense. But there's either multiple points that you can capture at once, or they're in a row, so a linear progression. Payload race is similar to Payload, and then 5 control points is what most of competitive TF2 is, and there's 5 control points in a row, and then you kind of have to work your way through it, with the middle point being kind of the initial contest, and then after you win that, you can move forward towards the second point and then towards the last point. So, and then capture the flag is old school style. Capture the flag, grab the flag, take it back to your base, and then there's a random. So if you use this menu and you pick one of these, it just throws you into a server. And also these servers are generally the Valve servers, where there's more introductory level players. Of course, you can also come over here to the Browse Server menu, and there are a lot of options in here. Of course, what you want to look at is your latency being low, therefore it's a server that's close to you, and then you can see which map's playing, how many players. Sometimes, unfortunately, there is a trick that some unscrupulous server operators use, where they can fake the player count on their server. So that's unfortunate. Also, there are some other types of games, like right here we see TF Dodgeball, and you can always just filter it by game type. One of my personal favorites is the MGE mod, which is like a deathmatch version of TF2, but that is kind of for more advanced players. Not saying that you can't get in there, but if you're totally new, you're going to be really confused. Now, there's also some training modes that are really cool. The basic training is for anybody who's really new to FPSs. You can see, I beat the Soldier one before, but I haven't checked out the Spy and the Engineer ones. But those are very helpful if you are a new player. You can also, the offline practice puts you in against computer players, and that's a good one too as well if you're still just trying to get started. As you can see here, you can kind of select a couple modes, and then it gives you some options, how many bots and what your difficulty is. So it even gives you a good selection of all the maps and stuff. I just want to show you guys the classes real quick, then we'll wrap up this video. TF2 is all about team play and class selection. So when you're playing in a public server, you know, whether it's 12 people or a higher count 32 or a lower count, you have to be really careful about your class selection and make sure that you're picking a class that's going to be helpful for your team. TF2 is a game where you want a little bit of everything. Certain classes counter other classes. When you're playing with 6 players, you know, maybe, well, obviously 6 players, 9 classes, you can't have one of everything. You know, maybe you want to have 2 scouts, maybe you want to have 2 soldiers, since those are good offensive classes, but you still need to have a diversity of class selection. Also, when you're playing with 12 players, you know, then you can have double ups of classes and stuff, but you don't want to have like 3 snipers or 3 spies. That's kind of the common one, that if you see those numbers, then you really should change classes, or at least try to, if you're really good at that class, at least try to encourage your teammates to say, hey man, I'm really good at this, maybe you should change. But be polite about it, of course. Let's just rock down the class list real quick. Scout is a little bit difficult in public servers because he has very low health, but he can deal damage very quickly and very fast, and can capture points at twice the speed. The soldier is kind of like the general offensive class, and he's like, I don't know, a Quake. You know, he's got the rocket launcher, he's got a shotgun, and he can do rocket jumps. Rocket launch is very powerful. The Pyro is a very popular class, and it's, on one hand, it's a good beginner class, but then on the other hand, it does take a lot of skill to be able to play it at a high level. But it's fun to just, you know, start off at Pyro and just try to run in at people and set them on fire and get some kills. So the Flamethrower, definitely great, and then he has some other powerful weapon combinations. The Demo Man is extremely powerful, but kind of one of the later classes that I would suggest you learn. Managing your sticky bombs, which you can set on walls and then explode, is certainly a learned skill. You're kind of like the spider of TF2. You gotta lure people into your web of destruction. The heavy weapons guy is also another great starting class. It's very much about positioning. You have this very large chain gun, you have a lot of health, you can deal a lot of damage, but if you're too far forward, if you're by yourself, you're going to get killed. If you don't have your teammates with you, you're going to get killed. But it's a good starter class. Engineer is a little bit more advanced, but it is also a very good class for players that are still trying to figure out what's going on in the game. They want to hang back, build up their gear, you know, help with the defense, and not like direct combat class. Of course, the engineer's counter is the spy. And the spy has a ton of dangerous tools in his arsenal. He can actually fake his own death, so if you shoot a spy and it seems like they died way too easily, he's probably going to be back trying to kill you again within the next 5 seconds. Also, the spy can disguise as enemy players, and if you see someone who is on your team and they shoot your weapon, they are not a spy. If a spy shoots their weapon while disguised, they lose their disguise. Also, you can bump into spies. You can't bump into your own teammates. So that is another, those are kind of like the 2 best ways to check a spy. If you shoot him and he shoots back at you and he keeps looking like your teammate, he's your teammate. If you bump into him, he's definitely a spy. So I skipped ahead. The medic. Medic is one of the strongest classes in terms of helping a team out. You are the one who can heal your teammates with your medic gun. You can also build up a charge. There's a couple different charges that you can use, different weapons. The Uber charge, the Kritzkrieg charge, or the Quick Fix charge. Those are the 3 in the game right now. The Uber charge is the default one and the most powerful. Basically, as you heal people, that charge builds up. When it hits 100%, you can right-click and you go invulnerable, so does the player that you are healing. So that charge is insanely helpful for attack, for defense, all aspects of the game. And basically, as a medic, you want to stay alive. You want to stay alive so you can build that charge, and then you want to stay alive by using that charge, and you just want to stay alive. So, I mean, staying alive is kind of the first skill that any player should work on. Aim is the second, but staying alive is definitely the first skill that any player should work on. As the medic, don't run in front of your other players. Just stay back. I'll get more in depth on it on our next series. That's exactly what I want to talk about next. The medic, a very powerful tool. Great place to start out, but also sometimes players have expectations of what their medics can do. Sometimes they're very rude about that. But if you're going to play medic, stay strong. Just remember, you're doing it. They're not doing it. So they can shut up and not complain. Final class is the sniper. Long-range player, long-range shooter. can be very tough. You know, if your aim's not top level, not up there. You know, really, I suggest working your angles, switching your angles. Sniper's a fun class, but it can be difficult to play. So all these classes at this point in time now have unlocks, new items that you can juggle in. You also see I got crazy hats, I got accessories, I got taunts, but they have these different weapons that you can switch to. Also strange weapons. There's a lot of stuff going on in this game. But all of the default weapons are very powerful. You see I got a bunch of crazy loadouts. And these things give me, you know, different stuff that I can do. They give me more flexibility, more options, but all of the default weapons are very strong. For all the classes, there are achievements, and if you unlock those achievements, you get the weapon. Also, though, items just drop as you play. So just keep playing, and, you know, there's players out there that are willing to trade weapons and stuff if you're looking for something particular. Just kind of go out there. There's also some trade servers, trading, you know, make some friends and get some items, and just keep on playing, guys. That's what TF2 is all about. You know, don't get frustrated if you're on a server. Switch classes, maybe switch servers, maybe switch maps. But TF2 is a game where there's a lot going on, and you kind of you learn with experience, and that's what's really fun about it. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of knowledge to gain. Don't be intimidated, and just have a fun time. If you want more information on the items, I would highly suggest going to wiki.teamfortress.com. And for community news, communityfortress.com, vanillatf2.org, and our website, xtelevision.com. So thanks for watching this little video. We'll be right back with some more introductory content. So stay tuned, guys. Peace.